Yes, welkom bij Wat Vrouwen doen en Waarom. Ik zag de naam staan van Shirley en ik dacht van, ze is er. Dus dan starten we. Want je weet, we beginnen zodra er één persoon aanwezig is. En Shirley is alweer de winnaar van het programma voor vandaag. Oké, ik heb een pittige vrouw voor je vandaag. Reverti, welkom. Laat me even het in beeld brengen. Hi Shirley, groeten vanuit Paramaribo. Reverti, groeten vanuit Wanika. Yes, fijn dat jullie er zijn. Ik heb een hele bijzondere vrouw voor je vandaag. En ze is op dit moment in de States, in Amerika. En van daaruit gaan we het gesprek voeren. Maar voordat we dat doen, wil ik altijd even de bekendmakingen doen. Hè? We hebben deze week, eigenlijk gisteren, hebben we een hele belangrijke next level lady, kan ik zeggen. We hebben eigenlijk de leven gevierd gisteren. Jennifer Power is er niet meer en ik denk dat het goed is om even wat stil te staan bij haar. Een hele bijzondere vrouw. Ik heb haar leren kennen op de middelbare school. Op het Lyceum 2. Het was het eerste jaar van die school, omdat het slagingspercentage zo hoog was dat er een nieuwe school moest komen, een nieuwe VWO-school. En daar heb ik haar leren kennen. En ze viel echt op vanwege de liefde voor schoonheid en mode. En later kwam ik er weer tegen op de universiteit. Ze ging ook sociologie studeren. En het mooie ervan was dat ik daar de creativiteit heb gezien. Ze heeft deelgenomen aan, of ze was lid van het universiteitstheater. Dus toneel was op een gegeven moment haar ding geworden. Maar ik heb de assertiviteit ook gezien. Want op een gegeven moment zij en ik kregen een brief van de examencommissie dat we zouden worden afgeschreven. En ik had zoiets van, ja, zoveel tijd hebben we erin gestopt en aandacht en onze inzet. En zij had meteen van, Denise, dat accepteren we niet. We gaan het tegenin, we gaan het aanvechten. En we begonnen brieven te schrijven en met succes. Omdat we de doctorandusbul hebben behaald. We hebben een verlenging gehad van onze studie en het is succesvol geweest. Dus ik heb een hele mooie band gehad met Jennifer. Hele assertieve vrouw, een mooie vrouw. En ik ben heel blij dat we een interview met haar hebben gehad een tijdje terug. En daarvan wil ik je een fragment laten horen voordat we verder gaan met de overige bekendmakingen. Doe even kort stilte in aandenken aan Jennifer Power.
Stel wat ik zou willen meegeven is dus die kalmte. En kalmte is mijn superpower. En dat we, wanneer we in de rust zijn, even naar dat stemmetje in ons kunnen luisteren. En het moment dat we naar onszelf luisteren en teruggaan naar onze eigen waarden, dingen die wij belangrijk vinden, dan geeft dat ons kracht om inderdaad ook in die buitenwereld, dus eerst van je inner world naar de buitenwereld, ook de stappen te maken die je wil maken. Dus die kalmte is belangrijk. Wat ik eraan wil toevoegen, dat we ook leren te houden van onszelf als vrouw, wie wij zijn, en dat we onze kracht gaan herkennen en omarmen. En dat je dus mooi bent, uniek bent zoals je bent, en dat zoals jij bent een plaats heeft in deze wereld en een bijdrage kan leveren. Het gaat erom dat jij omarmt wie je bent en die unieke talenten inderdaad deelt met de wereld. En op die manier blijf je in mensen gedachten en blijf je voortleven.
Mooi hè, dat ze aangeeft dat het belangrijk is dat je je talenten, wat je hebt meegekregen, dat je dat inzet om een bijdrage te leveren. En zo blijf je voortleven, zegt ze. En inderdaad, Jennifer blijft voortleven in mijn hart. Warm mens, pittige, krachtige, assertieve vrouw. Ik wil verder ook nog welkom heten Samantha. Samantha, fijn dat je erbij bent. We zijn even stil blijven staan bij het leven van Jennifer Power. Oké, ten tweede wil ik aangeven wat er allemaal te doen staat voor Stichten Make a Difference. Er komt een tijd, de komende periode, zeker de komende 10 weken, gaan we hele bijzondere dingen meemaken. Maar meer op spiritual level, biblical spirituality. Omdat we op zometeen het Bijbels nieuwjaar gaat beginnen. De eerste Nisan. Daarna krijgen we Pesach. Daarna krijgen we uh, een heleboel leuke dingen. Als je gaat naar denisesumter.com/msca, dan heb ik daar het een en ander erover verteld. Maar vandaag heb ik een hele bijzondere vrouw die ik meteen aan je wil voorstellen. We gaan praten, ik ga het in het Engels doen, want ze spreekt Engels. Ze woont in Amerika, maar ik heb haar hier leren kennen. Ik heb een personal development workshop bij haar gevolgd en ze gebruikt een bepaalde methode. En het is zo goed aangeslagen bij mij, dat ik dacht van nee, ik moet jullie kennis met haar laten maken. Laten we even weten wie ze is, wat achtergrondinformatie over haar en dan heeft ze een verrassing voor ons. Vrijdag aanstaande. Winita, fijn dat je er ook bij bent. Suleja, welkom. Merlin, vanuit de woonkamer. Yes, yes. Dus dat wil zeggen, het gaat goed. Saskia is er ook bij. Hi Saskia, leuk dat je erbij bent. Oké, dan laat ik mijn gast, ga ik aan je voorstellen. Dan ga ik overstappen naar het Engels. I want to introduce to you very special person, Daine Sunhye Kim. She will introduce herself, but let me bring her in. Hi, Daine.
Hi.
I just told the community a little about how we met. And I told them we have something very exciting for them coming up. But first, I told them, yes, I told them I met you. You did a workshop and you had a very special approach to it. And I was so impressed by it. So I wanted them to get to know you. So, first, can you tell us something about yourself?
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much. I'm so grateful that I get to spend time with you. I love talking with you at any time for anything. Thank you to your beautiful community. Introducing myself, I'm Diane. I was born in the United States, in Texas, of all places. I'm a second generation Korean American, meaning that, yes, I'm the second generation in our family to be a US citizen. I am a therapist by trade, a mental health therapist, and I really have been on quite the spiritual journey, and it really grounds a lot of like my connection with the divine really grounds just how I love people and how I or want to love people, how I receive love from the divine, how I interact with the world. And I feel like that really shapes the magic I see around me and around us. And I'm inspired daily by just like women and how divine we all are. So yes, that's a little bit about me. I hope that covers some of it.
Yes, yes, very interesting to hear, especially that you're a therapist.
Yes.
Let's talk about how did you get interested in therapy? Was it from childhood or how did you
Yeah.
find interest in this? profession?
That's a really good question. Okay, so when I started college, I feel like I only majored in what I was always told what I should do. And so I was always told, the only three professions that were really an option for me growing up were to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. Like that's always the thing.
Mm,
Career.
yes.
So I went into school being a pre-med psychology major. I just chose psychology because honestly, my grades in high school were not awesome. And I just went
Really?
into whatever school I could get into or major I could get into, and that just happened to be psychology. Um, I was doing pre-med and I hit those science classes in my my second year of college, and I was like, oh no, like I cannot do
Mhm.
science. This isn't for me. Um, but coincidentally, I was taking this social work course, and the course was called it was called Poverty and Nonfiction in Film, and the professor was a social work professor. I'm a mental health therapist through social work, so my degrees are in social work. Um, but that class started with him sharing before we started even learning anything. The very first class was 8 rules of conscious living, and they were rules like know that no one is better than you and you are not better than anyone. Um, know that like you have an impact. um Things like listen to understand, not to respond. Like these were like these just like rules of engaging consciously in the world. And um something in me then was like, whoa, like I never in my life, because justice and dignity in people, like that was always something really important to me, just because
Mhm.
how I was raised and who my grandfather was and things like this. But I
Mhm.
never knew that it was an option, that I could do a job where
Mhm.
the whole job was the foundation, was about dignifying people and like dignifying yourself. And so
Mhm.
that put me on a path to social work. And I found my way to therapy. I joke around with my friends and my husband and say that because I really like to yap, I just like to talk a lot.
Oh.
I talk to people. But yeah, I love therapy because like every person that I encounter, uh,
Mhm.
I feel so blessed and honored that they trust me, that they can share with me, and that I can build a space for them where they can feel like they can really be with themselves. Um,
Mhm.
so I love it. So yeah, that's what really brought me to being a therapist, is that I really wanted and want and continue to strive to do a career and a life and participate in a society where I get to dignify people. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a lovely question.
Yeah, it's those topic always trigger me inside.
Mm,
Topics like knowing that you're valuable, but also knowing the value in other people.
yeah.
So yeah, it gets me fired up to go more into
Yeah.
the topics. Yes. Okay. What about sometimes it can so at times it might not be a good match between the therapist and
Yeah.
the client. Have
Yeah.
you met these situations, circumstances, and how do you deal with that?
Mm, yeah. I have dealt with those circumstances. Um, it's very rare that it happens. But I do think that okay, let me see. Off the top of my head, the main reason why I might not match with a client is
Mm-hmm.
maybe they are going through something, and I have in my mind of like, because I do feel confident that anyone with any issue, I could support them.
Mm-hmm.
And there are just some things that like I don't have the training for, and I don't have the experience in. And so oftentimes it's, the client often knows like, oh, she's not a match for me. Or I often, if they don't feel that way, sometimes I will even tell clients like, or potential clients, like, I think that, like you could be, like you could go so much further in therapy. And I think that like someone like this person or someone else might
Okay.
be able to take you much further. Um, and how do I deal with that? Sometimes it can be really emotional, and hard for everyone involved. Like it's frustrating. Like let's say the client knows that I'm not a good match for them. It's frustrating for them. If I know that I'm not a good match for them, it might be heartbreaking for them,
Yeah.
or might make them feel like they're like what they're going through is like too much, I think is something that can come up. But it's really like handled with a lot of like intention and a lot of love. And really what's centered is that like I just want, and what I'm here to do is make sure that they get the best care that they can. And
Mhm.
sometimes I might not be that person.
Mhm.
Um, and so those are like the number one cases. I'm trying to
Yes.
think of, yeah.
Mhm. Okay. Um, if you think back from your experience
Mhm.
talking to women or having women as clients,
Yeah.
what are some of the typical challenges that women face?
So many come to mind, but I can speak
Do
a
you see a repeating problem, a repeating issue?
yeah. There's a few things. The first thing and the biggest thing that comes to mind is, well, I want to share that my first career after, my first professional role, with a social worker degree, was that I was doing case management and um, crisis support for people who have been impacted by domestic violence and intimate partner violence.
Mm.
All women, like sometimes it was young men and young boys, but often women. Um, and so, yeah, that was kind of where my career started, was really like an ethic around what it means as a person and what it means as a society, and a
Mhm.
person in society to really root in like justice for women. And I mean, even I have some men clients, but that is like still at the center of my ethic and my what feels important to me in my job. But anywho, um, that was my foundation. And now, even now, like most of my clients are women. Uh,
Mhm.
and I see over and over again. I mean, you and I have talked about this when it comes to anava. Anava meaning, for folks, anava meaning humility. Um, I think women often have been told to be small, or that they're too much. Your emotions are too much, or, don't wear that, don't do that, don't act like that, stop making noise, like this kind of thing. And I think that that's not only taught in our homes, but taught in society and taught in our communities. And
Mhm.
um, so the biggest thing I really, the biggest thing that is a struggle for women that I work with is like a radical, um, like like bigness. I don't know how to say it, but like being big, like just being big, like taking up more space, and being justified in like your anger, and justified in your sadness, or what justified in your joy, like
Mhm.
all of these things. Yeah.
Maybe you can explain a little about anava, because
Yes.
you said humility, and when we hear humility, the first thing that comes to mind is making myself small, and so. I
Yeah.
love the concept of Anava. When I learned about it,
Yeah.
I became so bold the next day
I love it.
into taking my space without feeling like um, I am hurting other people, but learning that it is your space. So
Yeah.
you need to take it in
Yes.
a a graceful way. So maybe you can elaborate a little on Anava,
Yes.
and I think yeah, in doing that, maybe you can also make the approach of Mussar and talk about that part if you
Yeah.
think it is fit to do it in this way.
I would love to. That feels like a perfect place to go. Okay. So, um, through my extensive spiritual journey, I am now a practicing Jew, and there is this Jewish spiritual practice called Mussar, and Mussar started in the 15th century in a collaboration between mystical Islam and mystical Judaism. Mystical meaning like things that are like I don't know how to say, like the feeling and the beyond the physical realm, beyond the text, like things that you experience spiritually. So it's a conversation with Judaism and mystical Islam, and developed this Jewish spiritual practice with all these characteristics that you practice. Like, okay, the Torah says to be patient, to be kind, or to look out for your neighbor, but what if I'm not patient? What if I'm not kind? Like, how do I live Torah? And so, Musar is that practice of living the values of Torah. It's often described as the duties of the heart. Like, it's not just like what you do every day in ritual that, like, that you're supposed to do. It's like duties of your heart and your soul. Um, One of those principles is this thing called anava, or which is in Hebrew and is loosely translated in English as humility. Uh,
Mhm.
and we've been taught, like Denise, you're saying, we've been taught that humility means to make yourself small, to be modest, to be meek. And we're taught that. Especially women are taught to be small and meek and modest. But actually, what Musar teaches is that anava can exist on a spectrum between um, like it's like arrogance to like self neglect or something like that. Uh,
Mhm.
and and right in the middle, right in the balance point is like being right sized, meaning that or having it's one side is low self-esteem and the other side is arrogance, and the
Mhm.
middle or anava is healthy self-esteem. It's saying I know my place and I'm going to take it. And so it's this principle that everyone has their space to take. And by taking our own space, it's a holy act, because if you take your space, then someone else can take theirs. And it's being able to, and I think a lot of women, our anava practice is oftentimes, I won't say all the time, but oftentimes it's being a little bit bigger, filling up our space a little bit more. Um,
Mhm.
and it can be challenging. But yes, anava, to be more concise, is and humility in this definition, in this Musar Jewish definition, is being right size, not being too big, not being too small, really living in the value or the principle of like no less than my space, no more than my place. Like you're really
Mhm.
just filling up your space.
Even rhymes.
Yes, it does. It's
What
a
about practicing Anava? Um what is your journey? What have you experienced in your life into practicing this?
Oh gosh, my journey is ongoing. Like it's really weird because in my value, like in my heart of hearts, I believe this. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that I have a space. I believe that I'm made it in the image of Elohim or the divine. I know that I am one of one, like I know that I have a place here, that I have a purpose here, and that I'm important just like everybody else. But because of conditioning, oftentimes I'll go into a place and I'll shrink myself. Like I'll be like, "Oh," or like whatever it is. I'll be so meek and shy, or I can be that way. So I feel like it's a journey, and there's like the initial reaction is to Diane, don't take up too much space. Is like oftentimes my initial reaction. The practice really is doing it and doing and like taking up space even when it's uncomfortable. An example of that, there was this part of my anava practice is that I repeat that phrase over and over and over again in prayer. No more than my space, no less than my place. No more than my space, no less than my place. Just over and over and over again until it's like really imprinted in
No
my
more than my
space, no less than my place.
less than like a meditation.
Like a meditation, yeah, or like a motto, just over and over again. And I remember there was this one day I went into a bar. This is in the US, and I know it exists in Suriname, but there's just like such rampant racism in the States. But me and my friends went to a bar, and we were sitting there, and I was standing somewhere. I was standing at the bar with like my elbow on the bar, kind of like this. I'm standing there with my drink, with my friends, and this like man comes up, this white man comes up, and he's kind of like pushing his elbow like into me, and I push my elbow right back, and I look at
Really?
my husband, who is a Mussar teacher, is excellent, but who taught me about anava. I looked at him and I said, "No less than my space, no more than my place." Right? He was like, "Stand your ground." And eventually, the man did say,
Did
"Oh."
you say it in within yourself, or did you say it out
I
loud?
said it out loud.
Really?
I said it out loud because I was like, I need this. Like, I know, and that's a small example, but it's even things when like, I'm sure that women experience all the time. You're sitting next to a man and he's sitting with his legs all open, like out like this. And then we're sitting like so like as small as we can be, and sometimes your anava practice might be as simple as just sitting comfortably. Like, okay, this man is going to try and like, it means that we're going to end up touching thighs and he's going to have to move. Like, or I might even have to be like, hey, can you give me space? Or,
I've experienced that as a young girl in a
oh,
bus. Yeah. And I felt the man was sitting too close to me. I was very young.
yeah,
I told him, Mister, can you move a little?
yes,
Looked at me like that. What do you think? That I was trying something? I said, can you please move a little? And then he moved. But I saw that it wasn't, I felt like, no, give me some more space because there was enough space in the bus to sit. So yeah,
yeah,
it's really a thing to practice and really say something about it
yeah,
and
yes,
take your space.
yeah.
Okay. Tell us about, can you share with us a challenging situation in your life, whatever it is,
Mm.
how you've experienced it and how you overcame? And also people who are here, oh, I see Shirley has a question, but I think you've already explained it because she
Oh,
wants to know more about Anafa. You just did it.
mhm.
Is HWS? What is HWS, Shirley? Okay, but you already explained that. Mensen, als jullie vragen hebben, if you have questions, you can ask. The
Yes.
therapist is here. So,
I can answer any questions. I am only Denise's friend right now, but I can answer from my perspective therapist.
okay.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'll give another Anava example that's a challenge that like comes up just even as you're talking about the bus situation.
Mm-hmm.
There was this oh I in the States there was a kosher grocery store where me and my husband would go grocery shopping every week for Shabbat.
Maybe
And
you need to explain what kosher
oh,
means.
kosher. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Kosher is just like um, the laws in the Torah that say how you should, like what animals you can eat,
Mhm.
how those animals should be slaughtered um, and prepared. And
Yes.
so, yes, I keep kosher. My husband and I keep kosher. There was this kosher grocery store that mostly white people went to, and my husband, who's African and I'm Korean, um,
Beautiful couple.
thank you. But we were often not, the only, but some of the few people of color who went to this store. And
Mhm.
there was someone who worked there, and every time I went there, he would say something nasty to me. Like he would hit on me in this gross way. You know, when men like give you attention in a way that makes you feel so gross,
Mhm.
and he would do it every single week. And it made me angry. And, I've been taught to it's not a big deal. Like he's not, just let it go. It's not, and so I would go there weekly I was going there weekly for about, I think, like 5 months before I finally had the courage through a lot of practice, spiritual, finally say, like, no, I'm going to say something. This is ridiculous, and I should be able to. And I was also having this thought that, like, I bet he doesn't say this to any of the white ladies that come here, because there's just like a weird thing going on,
Mhm.
I don't know. Maybe that's true and not true, but it felt bad. Um, and I finally went up
We
to him.
can't hear you.
Oh,
Mm.
can you hear me now?
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh. Hello?
And
Oh, geez. Am I back?
yes, we missed you.
Sorry. um,
Um, we heard till the part that you. Oh
oh, I'm here.
yeah, you're back.
Yes.
Okay, you said you after you went several times, you had something like you thought I need to do something about it. Till
Yes.
that part we heard.
Yes. And I kind of had this feel like I didn't say anything for a long time because I was like, I don't want to embarrass him. Like, I don't want him to feel like embarrassed or ashamed. And I had this feeling of like, wait, like he's doing the shameful thing. Why am I protecting his embarrassment? Like,
Mm,
I get to say something. He should be ashamed. Like, I don't have to be embarrassed. He should be embarrassed.
mhm. Right.
And I was finally, which was a big anava practice of mine of taking up space. And I just told him, I said, every time I come here, you hit on me and you say something to me, or you make a comment about my appearance in a way that really makes me uncomfortable. And I would really like you to stop. And he said, I don't do that. No, I don't. And I said, you do. And I know, no, you do. So please stop. And my heart was pounding out of my chest. I got so embarrassed. And then my face was, I'm sure, red the whole time because I just was so
Mhm,
embarrassed about it.
mhm.
And she just said, okay. And then every single time after that, he didn't say anything. And every single time after that, I continued to be so uncomfortable because I was like, oh, like he thinks I'm mean or he thinks this of me. And I was like, oh, like it's such like I had to practice every week, like just be with this challenge. Um,
Mhm.
so, oh, I see a
So
question.
even after you practice anava,
Uh,
you how did you feel after that? Because you said after you practiced it, still when you went there, you didn't feel comfortable.
yeah. Yeah, I think it's still uncomfortable. Like, there's this, I don't know if y'all have read or if anybody's read My Grandmother's Hands by Resma Menakem.
I didn't. Maybe one of they will say if they have.
Yeah. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful, beautiful book about intergenerational trauma.
The title again?
My Grandmother's Hands.
My Grandmother's Hands.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
A beautiful book.
From?
Resma Menakem. It's like Resmam.
You can Google it.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay. Uh-huh.
And Resma Menakem has this just like this teaching around like clean and dirty pain. And there's dirty pain where you do something that's not aligned with your integrity. And so it hurts and it feels dirty. Like it doesn't feel good. But there's clean pain when you do something aligned with your integrity, but it's hard and it hurts.
Mm,
And so I think that when I act sometimes, because especially when I'm right at my growth edge with Anava, um, I can act with integrity to Anava, to the divine, to myself.
mm-hmm.
And it hurts because it's uncomfortable and I'm not used to it. And it's a challenge, but it's clean and it feels good because I'm acting within my integrity.
Yes, that's what I would say. It
Yeah,
it might hurt, but still you have a sense of fulfillment
yeah,
that you have practiced it. Mm-hmm. Let's
yeah,
go to Tosca. Tosca has a question.
yes. How do you end client sessions as a therapist?
Hmm.
I think the question is about, and you can, Tosca, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like with each and every session, how do I end sessions is what I'm understanding. Maybe yes. I can start to answer the question, but if
Yeah.
I'm wrong, then
How do you end client sessions as a therapist? Yeah, I think maybe regularly you have a system of how you end a session.
yes. With each client, it's different. Just based on the client and based on the relationship, but I definitely try to end mindfully. Like if I have 10 minutes left in session and I can see that the client is like really emotional, then I'll spend that like, I mean, really, I'm thinking about ending the session 20 minutes before end and like moving toward that direction. So I'm like holding that intention internally. So I'm not asking anything that I know is going to like open up anything new. The final session. Oh, okay, great. That's a good question.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's kind of the same. Um, many, I mean, many, I mean, even from the beginning, you're thinking about what does the ending mean, and going to look like. Um, I'd say I take as long as I can, like as soon as I know that, or as soon as I feel like a client relationship is going to end for whatever reason. Let's say the reason is because we've just completed our work. Like I've got them as far as they want it to be. It feels complete. Um, we'll talk about that. As soon as I feel it, or as soon as they feel it, they might share with me, but if they don't, I'll share with them. Like I have a client right now, in fact, who I've been feeling like I think we've done everything we can together. She's at a great place. And I'll just tell her like, oh, like I'd start that conversation with her and we take as long as we need to end. But oftentimes, maybe that might be a month, maybe that might be 2 months. I'd say the least amount of time I would take is a month to like properly close, especially with a client that I've had a long relationship with. Um, and we just process what endings are like for that client and make sure that we're also like if she's going to continue therapy that she goes to another therapist. Final sessions are filled a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times with lots of like gratitude. I'll ask the client what their work was like. um, I'll share with them what I see the work was like. We take feedback. I'd share gratitude. Maybe we might do like a closing ritual, where that might be just like, something somatic, like something in the body, a guided meditation. like just sending gratitudes, and then we say goodbye. You know, so that's the most ideal. A lot of times, clients, like when they're done with therapy, they'll be like, "I want to be done," or whatever, and they'll email me. But even then, I always try to make it so that it's intentional, that we have that final session where we can share with each other. Yeah.
Okay. Tapos kayo sa reageren if that answers your question. Okay, let's talk about the topic. You are valuable
Yes.
because you have a surprise. Friday, you have an online session for everyone who was here
Yes.
and people who look at the replay. Diane has a free session for each one of you. And can you tell us more about it?
Yes. Oh, I would love for you all to join, and anyone who's able to make it, I would love you to join. You can share with your friends. It's going to be this Friday, March 20th from 11 to 12:30. It's a 90-minute session. We're going to be exploring identity and like wearing our identity and what that means, using a study, using some text in the Torah, particularly the text in Genesis that states that people were created in the image of Elohim, or in the image of the divine, in Hebrew meaning B'Tselem. And we're going to really explore what B'Tselem means, or in the image, what that really means. And we'll study a couple other texts, but we're going to study Torah. We'll start with a spiritual grounding. We'll study Torah. We'll have a discussion, and then we'll take that discussion into art making. And that art making will include things that you can wear. So we'll be online, but and we'll send some info, but you are welcome to bring just whatever art material you want. But I highly encourage you to either bring just your closet, like go into your closet. You don't have to bring it, like, well, you'll have a moment where you can go away from the screen and make your art, but where you go to your closet or you bring makeup, and I'll lead y'all through it, but it's really about like wearing identity and what it means to like express our identity and be in the image of Elohim, especially as women.
Beautiful. Tosca said, let's look at her reaction.
Yes.
Thank you. Great. Okay. And she asks about, is it AM or PM?
Oh, yes. Good question. It will be 11 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Suriname time.
Suriname time.
Yes. I'll be back in Suriname then.
Okay, but still it will be online, and you can register at denisesumter.com/MSJ. MSJ staat voor My Spiritual Journey. Dus ga gewoon naar denisesumter.com/MSJ en dan vul je je gegevens in. Because then you will receive the unique link 15 minutes before 11, you will receive the unique link. And then we can have a great session. Ik heb eerder een sessie gehad. I did several times a session with Diane, and it's really liberating. It is really gaining a lot of self-knowledge, and it's very uplifting. So I would really urge you and encourage you to do this. It's a national free day, so actually we have the time Friday to do it.
Awesome.
So geef je op denisesumter.com/MSJ en dan krijg je de link om deel te nemen. Als er vragen zijn, if you have questions, you can ask them now. But I will disappear, Diane. I want to thank you for being with us and for sharing your life with us. But also, I'm very happy that Friday you will encourage us on the topic of B'Tselem. And I know that it will be very enriching for us. So I will leave now and you can speak to us from the heart.
Okay. Oh, I have a question, Denise.
Uh-huh.
After I share some words, will you come back? And
Yes,
then
I
we'll
will
close?
come back and then finish, and then you can stay in, and then I will catch up with you.
Okay. Will I bring you back or you'll just know when to come in? I'll just signal you? I'm sorry.
I'll just wait. I'll I will see when you finish. When you
Okay.
finish, then I will come back. Okay.
Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I hope that, yes, that there's something, that there's any takeaway. Really, I'm just grateful that you all came and brought your attention. I feel honored, really, and shy. But thank you so much for joining. Message from the heart is I hope that you may be boldly yourself meaning an element of the divine's creation, and creation from the heart of the divine, and that sentiment can really seep into your spirit, and that they can really inform how you show up in the world. And really praying that each of you can have a full like really fully internalize that we each have our own space, and that is divine and actually our duty to take up space. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your kind words. I hope to see y'all on Friday, 11 to 12:30 p.m. Suriname time. Thank you.
Yes, I want to thank you very, very much. And you see all the comments, the hearts. Shirley also gives a heart.
Thank you.
Zuleika also. I hope you will really register so that and you can also try to encourage other people
Okay.
because it will be very uplifting. I can tell you up front, it will be very uplifting
Yes.
with Diane because especially the creative part
Yes.
is really beautiful. So thank you so much, Diane, for being with us. Merlin also thanks you
Thank
for
you.
sharing your life, and I'll see you soon.
Talk soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye. So dat was de pittige Diane, die helemaal vanuit de States met ons heeft gesproken. Tegen vrijdag is ze terug, maar we gaan toch een online sessie met haar hebben. Ja, dan wil ik je bedanken dat je bent geweest bij deze aflevering van Wat Vrouwen doen en Waarom. Ik wil even herhalen, de komende 10 weken worden hele speciale weken. Voor ons, je weet, we zeggen aan een bonpriet unu, we hebben ook een geestelijke kant. En de komende 10 weken worden hele bijzondere weken, spiritually, want we krijgen het Bijbels nieuwjaar, dat is morgen. We krijgen hele belangrijke feesten zoals Pesach en dan heb je de omertelling ertussen en dan heb je Pinksteren. We hebben Hemelvaartsdag en hele interessante tijden komen eraan. En ik wil je inspireren om mee te doen. Daartussen heb je ook nog sabbatten en je hebt nieuwe maansfeesten. So, je weet, een van mijn dingen is om je te prikkelen om de Bijbelse feesten te vieren, right? Dus de komende 10 weken zullen heel erg impactful zijn. Geef je op via denisesumter.com/msj en dan krijg je alle informatie en van daaruit kun je ook gewoon, je kan me ook gewoon appen om vragen te stellen. Een ander ding is 3DOP. Je weet aan het eind van elke maand hebben we 3 Days of Positioning, 29, 30 en 31 maart. Daarvoor kun je je ook opgeven, denisesumter.com/3DOP. Maar je kunt me ook appen. Want dan gaan we vroegsmorgens van 4:30 tot 4:15 zien we elkaar in de ochtend. We versterken elkaar to show up strong, to show up aligned to your God-given vision. So, dankjewel. En dan zie ik je in de volgende